Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
The NBA season is upon us, Mr. Rose. We had 2 games last night, and they were both intriguing. The first one between the Sixers and the Celtics was full of highlights like this one featuring Jason Tatum accidentally going off the backboard, between the legs from Ben Simmons to Joel Embiid. It was a fun game to watch. The Celtics led throughout, but I have to say the most interesting part of the whole thing was what you just saw. Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, the 2 stars that we expect to propel the Celtics into championship contention, were a combined 6 for 26 from the field. The Celtics won, they led throughout, but were you surprised by the underwhelming performance by Irving and Hayward?
I wasn't surprised at all. You got to take into account that they're rejoining a team that made it to the conference finals without them and beat a team like Philadelphia, who has 2 cornerstone players in Embiid and Simmons. So now you integrate them back into the lineup. Gordon Hayward coming off a gruesome injury, and Kyrie Irving, obviously, as the primary ball handler, it's going to take time to use everyone to their strength. But the impressive thing is how they still beat the brakes off of Philly, and those 2 guys didn't have particularly great evenings.
It really was surprising to me to watch it go down like that. And again, it was just another reminder. We've talked in the preseason about how Tatum and Brown and Morris would react to getting less minutes. Right now, it looks like Tatum's team more than anybody else's. Are you impressed with how Tatum started the season?
I'm truly impressed with how he continues to progress as a player. He can shoot the 3. He can get his own shot off the dribble. He can finish at the hoop. He's competitive on the defensive end. Usually when you're taking number 3 in the draft like he and Jaylen Brown were, you're called upon to be the face of the franchise. But the Celtics have so many weapons on their roster, and they have so many assets as it relates to future draft picks that it's allowed those guys to ease themselves into their greatness. And for Jason Tatum, I'm not surprised that he's taking this quantum leap in his second year. It kind of makes me feel bad how they really fleeced the Philadelphia 76ers. Just think about this. They not only traded Markelle Fultz in theory for Tatum, they also gave up a pick so that they could take Fultz number 1 overall. And so when I see him have a pedestrian game and Tatum shine the way he does, it just reminds me that Philadelphia has a long way to go to get on the level of the Boston Celtics.
I was watching this Celtics team last night and thinking to myself, this team that is so deep with players could have 3 first-round draft picks this year. 3 first-round draft picks this year. It's crazy to think about. And a lot of people look at this Celtics-Sixers matchup as a potential Eastern Conference Finals preview and call it a rivalry. Joel Embiid was asked about that exactly, and here's how he responded.
This is not a rivalry. I don't know our record against them, but it's pretty bad. They always kick our ass. So this is not a rivalry, and Juju mentioned that earlier. So we just got to, work together and figure it out.
I love that from Embiid. He's like, this is not a rivalry. Like, we need to win some games against them for this to be a rivalry. What do you think about Embiid?
He's spitting facts on facts, and the obvious. Anytime you lose to the Boston Celtics in a playoff series and they don't have Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward, and then the next season they're going to bring them back and compete, that says that you have a long way to go. So I'm not surprised by what he said. He's just speaking facts.
I loved it, too, and they do have a long way to go. It's the beginning of the season. They still have – wait, I forgot how many games they have left. Well, Joel Embiid took to Twitter after the game, as he always does, and here's what he tweeted. Take a look. He said, tough start, but Jalen Rose, more to go. Hashtag the process, hashtag 81. Wait a second. Did Joel Embiid just take shots at you after the game? What do you have to do with this, Jalen?
I think we have a weird relationship. I covered him when he was in college. And believe it or not, we actually text back and forth with one another. And
what?
So I also got invited to come talk to the Philadelphia 76ers basketball team about none other than social media. So I'm not surprised in theory that he wanted to deflect from the fact that they got beat by 18 points versus the Boston Celtics and make it about a sideshow. I wasn't the Jalen out there trying to dunk over him. And so I'm not the issue at all. So It's all love. I appreciate the shout. We'll see how the season progresses.
I thought it was funny. It was just like we lost to the Celtics. We're 0-1. But you know what? Jalen Rose had 81 points scored on him, so I'm going to take shots at him. When in doubt, just default make fun of Jalen Rose. I've made an entire career out of it. Moving on to the second game between the Warriors and the Thunders, I really did not expect this to be close. The Thunder were without Westbrook and Robertson. Adams did play, but he was hobbled a bit by an injured back. KD showed up and showed out. Steph Curry had 32. It was a typical game from the Warriors, but the Thunder looked pretty good keeping it close. Were you surprised by how close this game was at the end?
I wasn't surprised, and the reason why, and I talked about this at length for anybody that would listen, until DeMarcus Cousins comes back, there's going to be a void at the 5 spot playing most minutes for the Golden State Warriors. They're just relying on a lot of young players to take up those minutes and give that level of production. And also, Draymond Green is going to have to ease into his game. I'm noticing that teams have dared him to shoot, in particular from three-point range, because you're trying to pick your poison. If you're looking at the percentages, you clearly would rather have him shoot versus Curry, Thompson, or Durant. So those are kinks that the team still needs to iron out. But I was impressed with the effort that OKC played with, Paul George in particular, in the second half. Happy to see Dennis Schroeder play quality minutes and be really productive. So I talked about OKC being a legitimate team, not on the Warriors level, clearly, but in that second tier of teams that could possibly upset a team like Houston and or make the Golden State Warriors work. The way I saw them play without Russell Westbrook confirms that.
And they were without Westbrook, because you know me, I love the drama. I'm always here for the drama, the interpersonal stuff and things like that. But I didn't think I would get it with this particular game, but I did. Westbrook was on the end of the bench in civilian clothing, rather understated attire for Westbrook. And there was one play where Steven Adams had the ball in the post. Westbrook was clearly woofing at Durant and Adams. And then watch what happens here. Durant swats the ball out of Adams' hand and then stares down Westbrook. Westbrook's he's in street clothes, and he's still involved in the trash talk between these two. Do you think there's legitimate bad blood there, or are they just kind of like friendly ribbing each other?
They're just friendly ribbing each other as former teammates. And for those that haven't been paying attention, their level of discord and or beef has been squashed a long time ago. They were even seen spotted kicking it at a gig this offseason. So it's not that they have an issue with one another anymore. I think that's water under the bridge. But the thing that gets lost about that play, first and foremost, KD fouled Adams.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Second, what ends up happening, and you know how this works, when Adams was posting him up, Russell probably was on the side like, Mouse in the house, put him in the back.
That's exactly what happened.
And so when KD got the swipe, of course he's going to look over at the bench and talk a little trash to Russell. No harm, but that definitely was a foul.
Oh, you know what that was? A bad entry pass. You can't post up Steven Adams 20 feet from the basket. He's not that player. You know what I mean? You got to throw a better entry pass than that. Come on. So last night the Warriors got their banner and they got their rings. But this year the rings are a little bit different because when you win as many championships as the Warriors, you got to remix it. So they have a twist off top. It's like a Coors Light can that you could, or Coors Light bottle you can twist off, and then it's reversible. Jalen Rose, what do you think about this innovation in championship ring technology?
I wish I had enough championships like Steve Kerr to be innovative, but I will say this, and shout to the Golden State Warriors with their 3 championships, and they have a chance to go for a three-peat. It was amazing to see them raise their banner. It's always good to see the excellence of dynasty-level teams be celebrated. However, they're clearly bored because that ring is terrible.
It is, there's no need to have a twist up.
That's definitely going to get lost.
That's what I was just about to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, if you have a detachable piece on your ring, that just means you're going to lose the detachable piece when you try to sell it on eBay in 15 years. Come on, y'all. Y'all have to have more foresight than this. Draymond Green celebrated with the ring. He also celebrated with a pair of house shoes. Look at these. He's got the 3 and the Larry O'Brien on like a velvet pair of slippers. Jalen Rose, cultural or regional house shoes?
Well, first and foremost, that's definitely cultural, number one. Number 2, I'm happy for my brother, my fellow Michigander representing Saginaw, to be in a position to play for one of the best teams in the game and have 3 championships and be an integral part of what they do. So for him to rock the shoes is definitely no surprise to me.
Jalen Rose, It's time for News That Matters. Not only have the Warriors innovated ring technology, they've also innovated something else that's very important to the basketball experience, the kiss cam. We all know the kiss cam. It's always fun. You watch people kiss. You watch people don't kiss. It's a great part of the in-game experience. However, the Warriors are now doing this. They have an independent, objective judge that will judge the kisses that happen during the kiss cam, and they will award the best kissers with a free night at a hotel. Jalen Rose, are they taking it too far and making the kiss cam a little creepy?
They're making it a little bit creepy because here's what's going to end up happening. Now you're encouraging people to do outlandish things. And while it is a family, fun, friendly environment that involves kids and clearly adults, you don't want the kiss cam to become something where people are making out. Now all of a sudden, you're going to have people with the extra hug, leg locking, sitting on laps. It's going to become something that's too extra to the point where they now will take those people off of the camera when the kiss cam actually takes place in certain situations.
I totally agree. I think the kiss cam is about to get a little X-rated at the Oracle. They're going to change this policy. I'm predicting right now. You make a lot of great predictions about the NBA. I'm predicting about the NBA that they're going to change this kiss cam policy because it's going to get a little risque. It's going to get a little like a nighttime on Cinemax over there at the Oracle in between the breaks. Coming up next, don't change the channel because we've got more information about Kevin Durant and his impending free agency. Did he get socially awkward and do something weird on social media again? Yes, he did. We'll explain after this. Explain the plot to Boogie Nights.
It's basically a collection of individuals inspired through music and dance.
Oh, okay. All right.
They were trying to get a dance hall built.
Yep.
So that they can give back to the community and be a beacon for helping young people get off the street.
What Boogie Nights is really about was making porn in the 70s.